All right, here we go. We're gonna do a test out here, a test piece here. See if my idea is gonna work. I'm gonna ride that. I'm gonna ride right along the edge of the foot here. I'm expecting this to it might shift a little bit as I'm going, but we're gonna try and keep it straight. That looks all right. Not bad. I got a little bit messed up here, but not bad. We're practicing. All right, let's do this other side. I think what's happening here is this bias tape might be shifting a little bit. I might have to stop. This is doing a back stitch. That's what it's doing right now. Let's pop these pins out. Let's see what we got. So I think this tape might have been shifting just a little bit. That's all right. That's why we practice. Get our technique down. All right. So it's our bottom. It's our top. This way. Fold this over. Let me measure how far I want this. Yeah, that'll work. I think that'll work fine. So what we do next, we fold this over and we put bias tape along this edge here. So actually the bias tape will go all along this edge, close up this here, and then we'll sew in the pockets. All right, so that's going to be the next thing we do here. All right, so this part's going to take a little finesse. So we're going to be starting and stopping here. Shift it a little bit. All right. That's one side. All right, so you get the idea here where we're going with this. So I'm going to set up the other side, and we'll come back and we'll sew that side on. All right. Just trim some of these off of here. All right, here we go. So far, this is where we are. All right. So what I've done, I did what I was talking about before. I sewed this bottom edge. I sewed the top edge with the bias tape. I got to put a little bit more in here. I got to clean that up a little bit. And then we did one piece of bias tape all the way across the long edge to create our pocket. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out. I'm going to measure out along here, and then all I got to do is just sew the pockets. Now this, again, this is not going to be, let me give you an idea. Pocket, do a little Bismarck, folds over. This, I'm going to make this a little bit longer, but that's the idea. So hopefully we'll have 5, maybe 7. I don't know, we'll see. But we'll see how many we can get. And then that'll fold over and then roll up. So I'm gonna mark out the pockets and keep on going. All right, here we go. Got the pockets measured out. Got to do a little reinforcement stitch here. I might actually do that when I do the finished one. I'll do this whole edge, but then I'll put another like quick little stitch just right here where the pocket is actually going to come together to kind of reinforce that a little bit. But there we go. So we're just going to line this up. Sew in these pockets and see how this works. This is only a 5. I'm gonna make it, obviously I'm gonna make this wider to accommodate 7, but this should hold maybe even an 8/8 razor, who knows. All right, pocket number 1. There you go. So let's finish sewing up the rest of them. Trim all these. I'll trim all these when I'm done. Trim all these extras off here.